Hey, third graders, we are going to continue being mathematicians today, and we're going to go back to our student journal and continue with our review. Remember, we talked about this is like practice and like the study guide for the upcoming test. So today, you're going to be starting on page 235. Okay, and you'll notice I've got a sticky note in here to kind of mark my place so I can kind of find where I left off pretty quick. It may not always be the exact spot, but at least I don't have to thumb through all my pages. So if you find yourself spending a lot of time doing that, maybe you could grab a sticky note or a piece of paper to stick in there as a bookmark. All right, on page 235, we're going to start with subtracting today and practicing. And you'll notice this particular problem, 700 minus 255, this is where we talked about subtracting across the zeros because, right, there's nothing there. So you'll notice that they have already put the number 700 here to stack, and I need to fill in the 255 because that's what I'm taking away from 700. Okay, I'm going to zoom that in a little bit so you can see it. I also reminded myself, this is the ones column. These are tens. These are hundreds. All right. Never hurts to remind ourselves. So let's subtract. Okay. I have 0 ones, but I have to take 5 away. I can't do that, right? There's more on the floor. I have to go next door. Well, when I go next door, there's nothing there either. So I have to keep going. I'm going to ungroup my hundreds and take a group of 100 away, and I'm going to give it to my tens. So now there are 10 sticks here. Okay. I'm still not done because I have to take a 10 stick away to give it to my ones. And we've drawn lots of proof drawings, right? We've talked about this over and over. So I'm not going to go into too much depth of what we just did because I'm hoping that you already know that. I started with 0 ones. Now I have 10 ones. So now I can subtract. And remember, we subtract going down. Okay, we never just look at the numbers and say, well, this is bigger, so it's 5 minus 0. That is incorrect. That is wrong. And as a third grader, you should not be doing that. We subtract going down. If you don't have enough on the top, then you have to go next door. 10 minus 5, that's a double. 9 minus 5, it's 1 less. 6 minus 2 is 4. So my final answer is 445, right? If I were going to draw that, it would be 4 hundreds, 4 10 sticks, and 5 ones. Okay, that's my answer. Remember, I can check myself by adding my two addends together. So let's do that. Let's check. And I'm going to write a check mark right there as a reminder that that's what I'm doing. If you do this, you'll catch any mistakes. And I've told you a lot that quite often the mistakes are in the tens place because people forget to ungroup again. All right. 5 plus 5 is 10. That means I have a new group of tens. Ooh, that makes a nice 5 right there. 5 and 5 is 10. I add those together, I get 700. That's the same as that. So I'm comfortable that I got the correct answer with 445. Okay, now we're going to add 521 plus 129. I'm going to zoom that in a little bit too. And you'll notice this one, they give us 4 options, right? When I do my work, if one of these options isn't what I got for my answer, then I need to try again, right? I'm not going to guess. I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo it. 9 plus 1. And remember, now we're adding. Up here we were subtracting. Some friends don't pay attention to that symbol, that operation, and they do the wrong thing. 9 ones plus 1 1 is 10. So there's a new group of tens. 2, 4 plus 1 more is 5. And then I've just got 6. So my answer that I came up with is 650. Do I see it anywhere? Oh, there it is. Maybe I want to just circle it. Either one would be fine. Look at number 9 and number 10. says 4 numbers 9 and 10, add or subtract, so depending on what they ask you to do. Make a proof drawing to show that your answers are correct. Okay, proof drawing takes a long time, right? But it shows you why you're doing what you're doing, okay? And it helps you to prove the answer. So 497 plus 326. I'm just going to solve that right here, and then I'll draw my picture over here to prove it. We've done this a lot. 7 plus 6. Right away, I know that the double of 6 is 12, and that's just one more, so it's going to be 13. Okay, that makes a 10 plus 2 more is 12 tens. Now, oh, look at that. That's the double. 4 and 4, 8. So I should have 823 as my answer. If I'm going to draw a proof drawing, then I'm going to draw each of these numbers. So here is 497. And remember, you can pause the video and draw. Plus 326. And remember when we talked before at the very beginning, when we're drawing our proof drawings, our shapes should be about the same size. 320. And there's 6 ones. Okay? So I have to look at each of these places, my ones, my tens, my hundreds. Can I make a new group? Well, here's 7. If I take 3 from the bottom, that makes a new 10, right? So I'm going to take that and I'm going to make a new 10, and I'm just going to put it down here. So I'm going to cross that off because I traded it in. Okay? Now let's check my tens. Here's 9 of them. Well, if I take one more, I have a new group, right? So a new group, 10 10 sticks, is going to be a new 100. So I'm going to cross that off and show that I added it right there. Okay, so now when I look back, can I make a 10 here? I cannot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundreds. There's my 8. Okay, I'm going to write that number right there. How many 10s do I have? Here's one. Here's a second one. Everything else was grouped. So now I have 2 10s. And how many 1s do I have left? 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's my proof. This is why I have an 8, a 2, and a 3, because I have 8 hundreds, 2 10 sticks, and 3 1s left. Okay, if you want and you want to highlight those so you can see the ones that are left over, that's fine. Maybe I'll take this one right here and move it over a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Right? But there's my proof. Okay, when I take these two proof drawings and I combine them, I've made some new groups. I've made a new 10 and I've made a new 100. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite, because remember, addition and subtraction are related. They're really like undoing each other. They're the opposite operations. This one is making the total. This one is taking the total apart. Okay, so here's 690 minus 493. Right away, I can see there's more on the floor. I have to go next door. Okay, I have 9 10s. I'm going to take a 10 away. So now I only have 8. And I'm going to give it to the 0. 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 8 minus 9. Oh, I can't do that, right? I don't have enough. More on the floor. I have to go next door. So that becomes 5 hundreds, not 6. And I'm giving that 10 10 sticks to my 10s. So instead of 8 10s now, I have 18 10s because I added a group of 10. 18 minus 9. I'm pretty good at my doubles. I know that's a 9. 5 minus 4 is 1. So my answer is 197. Let's prove it. Let's make sure I got the right thing. All right. Let me pull my camera down just a little bit. We're going to work in this space right here. We're going to draw 690. It's kind of hard to see because I've marked it up. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So there's my 690. And now I have to ungroup and take 493 away, right? Maybe I need to ungroup, maybe I don't. So I want to pay attention. If I'm going to take away 3 10s or 3 1s, do I have any 1s? I don't. So I need to ungroup this 10 stick, right? And I'm going to give it over here and I'm going to make 10 1s. I'm going to break it apart. Okay. Now I can take away 3 of them, right? So I'm just going to cross those off just like that, right? When I'm ungrouping or trading in, I like to mark them with an X. When I'm just taking them away on the problem, I like to kind of put a line through them so I can see the difference. Okay. How many are left? Ooh, there's 7 left. Oh gosh, I think I'm on the right track. Now I need to take away 9 10s, right? Do I have 9 10s? Here's 5, 6, 7, 8. I only have 8 of them. So that means I have to ungroup this one, right? And give it to my 10s. So this is like 10 10 sticks. So I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 10 sticks plus the 8 that I had. So that makes 18. Now I can take 9 of them away. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's what's left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them are left. Let's do what's left here. Looks like shoes, doesn't it? 7 1s are left. Okay. How many do I need to take away here? I need to take away 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's left? 100. 197. 197. So there's the proof that I did my problem correctly. All right. Remember, if you need to just pause the video to finish copying down the drawing, that's totally fine. You're going to be taking a photograph of these 2 pages that we're working on today and turning it in. I want to see your work. I want to make sure that you've copied it down correctly. So the other day we put a heart around the pages. Today we're going to put a rectangle or a box. Okay, you're going to turn in today page 235. Okay, so let me zoom it out in case you didn't get something copied down where you can pause the video. I know it's not perfect because it's not quite, doesn't quite fit. Yeah, try to fix it there so you can pause the video if you need to. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the page to page 236. And I'm also right away going to put a box around that page number so that I remember that I need to turn this page in as well. All right. So I'm going to zoom in so we can start on number 11. And the directions say that we're going to add or subtract for number 11 and number 12. So I've got to pay attention to that symbol. Here I am, just adding. 7 plus 3 more is 10. Ooh, 7 plus 3 more. I just did that. That's 10 plus 1 more is 11 tens. Now I have 7 hundreds. So my answer would be 710. I don't have to do anything, right? I'm just solving the equation. Which method did you use to add? I used new groups above. I used new groups below. Or did you do the show all totals method? That's one that we said we're not going to do. So go ahead and mark that one off because I don't want anybody to do show all totals. That's a kind of a confusing one. Okay, and depending on what you did, I have my new groups above. I like to see them on top. Some of you like to put them below. So whichever one you used, you're going to circle. Okay, they're both correct, and you may use either one. Just remember that you have to then either You have to add those in, so don't forget that they're there. Okay, number 12, we're going to subtract. 7 ones minus 9 ones. I don't have enough, so I have to ungroup. 17 minus 9 is 8. 0 minus 4, well, I can't do that, so I have to ungroup my hundreds. Now I have 10 tens, and I can take away 4 of them, and that will leave me with 6 tens. Sorry. 5 minus 5, that's 0, right? Nothing that cancels itself out. I do not write a 0 at the beginning of a number, only in the middle when it's holding a place. Okay, so never put a 0 at the beginning. So my answer is 68. I'm going to check myself. I'm going to add my 2 addends to make sure I got the right answer. 9 plus 8 is 17. That's a 10. One more makes 11. 617 is the same as what I started with, my total, right? So now I feel pretty good about that. Giving myself a thumbs up like Dave does. All right, did you ungroup to subtract? I just said Dave, I meant Doug. Doug from Mystery Science. Did you ungroup to subtract? Explain why or why not. So did you ungroup? I had to ungroup my tens because I didn't have enough, right? I didn't have enough ones, and I had to ungroup my hundreds because I didn't have enough tens. So let's write this. Yes, I needed ones and tens, so I ungrouped the tens and hundreds, right, to get those numbers. Okay. There's that enough. That's one of those sight words, those red words. I'm going to go back and reread it, make sure it makes sense. Yes, that's my answer. I needed ones and tens. Here's my proof. I didn't have enough. So I ungrouped the tens, right, to get the ones, and the hundreds to get enough tens. Okay, that's what we did. Got a couple more to do, and you'll notice on this page, quite often they'll give you the label, so you want to make sure you pay attention to what they're asking you. Okay, this one says that Andre buys 860 bricks. He buys 575 red bricks and 147 tan bricks. The rest of the bricks are gray. Okay, and it says to write and solve an equation to find how many gray bricks Andre buys. Okay, so this is one of those two-step word problems, right? What am I going to do? He's got all these bricks. We know some of them are red, some are tan, but we want to know how many of the gray ones he has. So I'm going to start by drawing a picture over here. Here's my total of 860. Okay, he's got 575. Those are the red ones. He's got 147. Those are the tan ones. And then that unknown, the gray ones, right? You know what? Instead of putting a question mark, I'm going to put a variable. I'm going to put the letter G in there because that's my unknown. Okay, so all of those are part of that total. Okay, so what's the first thing I'm going to do? What do you think you're going to need to do first? What is the amount of the two of these together? Right? I have 575 and 147. So let's start there. That's my first step. 575 plus 147. That's going to tell me how many red and tan bricks he has. 5 plus 7 more. That's 12. That's also 12. So those two bricks combined give him 722 bricks. Okay? So how am I going to use that answer to solve the question? We don't know how many gray bricks. Okay, so we could even say this could be one circle that would show 722. You know that when I have a total and I have one of the addends, I just am going to subtract. So my second step is taking my total and subtracting what I got here, my 722. Whoop, more on the floor. I need to go next door. There's 8. 5 minus 2. I can do that, right? So I don't have to ungroup anything. 8 minus 7 is 1. So 138 is the gray brick. Okay, and I'm going to write that in here. That's my answer, 138 gray bricks. But what kind of an equation did we do? Remember when we worked on equations that had parentheses and we talked about the order of operations? If I start with my total, 860, right? Then I subtracted. I subtracted 575 and I subtracted 147. Right? But what did I do? I added these two together and I did those first. Right? Remember when you have the parentheses around them, it says do me first. So I did that first and got 722. Right? And that's why I took 860, my total, and subtracted 722. I found the total of these first and then subtracted, right? I would never have my subtraction on the other side because that wouldn't make sense. This isn't enough to subtract 860 from, okay? So if I were to add these three numbers together, my three addends, I'm going to get 860, right? Listen to the question next. It says, what if Andre returns 248 red bricks, 85 tan bricks, and 58 gray bricks? How many bricks does Andre have now? And there's our label. So if he takes these back to the store, how many does he have now? We know he had 860, right? If he takes these back, what would we do to figure that out? How many does he take back altogether? Let's figure that out. Let's see, we don't have a whole lot of room here. 248 plus 85 plus 58, right? I can add three numbers. I'm just adding the ones, right? 8 and 8 is 16, plus 5 more is 21. Okay, so now I've got two new 10s. Ooh, an 8 and a 2 make a 10. There's 15, and 4 more is 19 10s. Made a new 100. Now I've got 391. So that's how many he returned. I'm going to write myself a label there so I remember. Okay, so if he returned that many and he started with 860, how many does he have now? 860. I'm going to take away 391. I can't do that. I've got to ungroup to leave myself a lot of room. 10 minus 1. 5 minus 9. Well, I can't do that. So I know that's going to be a 15. It's kind of hard to see. 15 minus 9 is 6. 7 minus 3 is 4. My answer is 469 bricks. That's how much he has now after returning those. Okay? So a lot of times in second grade, they would say, what if Andre returns 391 bricks? How many does he have now? They don't tell you that in third grade, right? You've got to figure out how many he returned. Okay, so you've got 2 pages, 235 and 236, that you are going to be taking photographs of and turning in for your assignment today. Okay, let me zoom this out so you can see the whole page at once. Okay. If you need to copy anything else down, right, before you take your photograph, you can do that right now.